Hello, everybody. This is my first time doing a Sprite level in Unreal for my class assignment, and I just wanted to show you how my thought process on someone who wants to one day be a game designer, level designer, narrative designer, just kind of how I think and what my thought process was. So, with the assets provided by the school, I had a lot of opportunity to do something I've always wanted to do before, which is kind of a temple. First semester, I kind of did a castle inspired by, Dark Souls, Game of Thrones. Um, the temple here would be the end, kind of going for like a jungle setting, foliage, all that sort of thing. I'm always a sucker for, there's a ruined temple deep in a forgotten part of the world that's been uncovered, and you have to go in to stop the evil from getting out or defeat the bad guy before everything is lost. That's, never gets old. So the player would start here, you know, would come down here. This was the initial idea, kind of like a maze. I'll show you the before and after. Um, the player would get out of the maze, fall, do a series of jumping puzzles, go through a tree, kind of go up like Tarzan, come down in here. So pretty non symmetrical level design. I've been playing a lot of Silk Song lately and very inspired by that. It's probably one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played in my life. So I'm gonna go through the level. As you can see there, a second avatar sprite fell through, but I never knew quite how to fix that. So apologies there. As you can see, there are trees. This was needed to prevent out of bounding, as we call it in games, because the player would just fall through the map. So that's why it was there, while also fitting for the aesthetic. Um, you know, good green grass here. The jumping for the physics, something I noticed before when tweaking through was I wanted it to be smooth, even though people quite don't jump like this in real life, to be able to jump over an object and just progress through. Mario kind of does these wacky, larger than life jumps, so I thought that, for this we'd be good. This would be good enough. So right here is a pit that the player, if they fail to jump, they are stuck in. They have to jump out. So that was the idea for that, tutorial level stuff. Had fun doing the tile uh, for the skybox, as that's what that's called. Going down here, again, had really another thing too, even more than that, was the mountain textures I thought were nicely done. So I had to do that as a backdrop before going to more of like a forest. So this is a puzzle, as you can clearly see. The player physically has to jump on this moving platform. Akin going back to, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1 days, heck, even before then. This temple, stone temple here that you see was my favorite part of the assignment, and it was something I was very proud of. I really wish I did more of it now in retrospect. Never say never if I was to do it again, but I really felt like I came alive with this. I felt I captured it pretty good, something that's ruined, vegetative, right? It's been here for a long time. It's being overgrown with weeds and wild flora. Here on the left is where we need to go. Originally this wasn't here, but I was like, well, it would kind of suck if the person fell in here, right, and would be trapped, right, and it'd be kind of silly. So I just decided to put that there. More ruins. So we're gonna go over here. Just kind of speed run through this like in my drawing, the player would go here, and no, we're not gonna make that. Um, Here was the idea was like a hollowed out tree, kind of like a redwood, if you would. If I was more skilled in Unreal, there would be something akin to a Legend of Zelda game where imagine this was a bomb and you had to drop it from a large height to go to the next puzzle. As you can see here, we're in another situation where we have to jump. Kind of clip through there. We'll just wait for this to come back, and the player physically has to jump and move on to this, or else they are stuck. We go back here. The jumps are timed further apart so that they're not identical. You have to wait a little bit. Then you have to physically go down here to get to the temple itself. There's no other way to go to but the way we are going. The layout of the designer. So again, we would have our bomb here, and if we had a trigger, contact to this wall, this would blow up, and then you could proceed. Again, had a blast making this, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but hey, we got to get this bomb through, and boom, there's the end. And I hope you enjoy, and this is a lot of fun to make, and the playing around with the provided sprites was very cool, so I hope you enjoy my level, and it wasn't too unbearable, but appreciate you for watching, and thank you.